Hi, I'm Andy.
And we're here sitting at the Mad Hatter's table, drinking tea and eating these wonderful cakes.
To tell you about our amazing summer exhibition based on Alice in Wonderland.
There's lots of work that goes on behind the scenes putting on an exhibition like this.
So come with us down the rabbit hole and we'll show you how it's done.
Hello, my name's Helen Cann and I'm the Design Services Officer here at the Potchers Museum and Art Gallery. I'm here to talk to you about the setup of our latest exhibition, Curiouser and Curiouser, Alice's Adventures in a Museum Wonderland. It's my role at the museum to design the layout, graphics and colour schemes for all of our exhibitions and displays, and this one is going to be a really exciting exhibition. It's been postponed from last year, so we've had plenty of time to come up with new ways and ideas of engaging visitors with the objects and giving you lots of nice activities to do in the space. I've already talked to you in one of my design blogs about the design of the exhibition, so this will focus on how we set up an exhibition. And you'll probably be interested to hear that it is just myself and Andy, my colleague, who set up the exhibitions. We do all the design, the graphics, the props, and also Andy makes all of the props, and we set up the exhibition together. So here's an insight into what we do. Just starting the setup of the Curiouser and Curiouser exhibition. As you can see, Andy's just doing the finishing touches of the painting. The colour is kind of a light green colour. I've got a little plan here, a sneak preview of what the exhibition is going to look like. We've already put some doors on the wall which have been printed on our printer in-house in vinyl. So in front of us you can see the columns. In this exhibition they're going to form the four corners of Alice's croquet ground, the Queen's croquet ground. We're just going to unwrap the wallpaper. We usually print most of the stuff that we have for exhibitions in-house, but this, because it's quite large, we've had it printed by the City Council's print section. It's been printed onto HP digital wallpaper, which is a very good wallpaper to be printed on because all you have to do is wet the back of the wallpaper and then put it up. So the wallpaper will be the backdrop, and there'll be a caterpillar that Andy's made out of polystyrene in front, and also a mushroom, and some mushrooms and caterpillars out of our collection as well. The doors, in between those will be a little door that in the story Alice goes through. Now originally it would have been a door that the visitors could open, but because of the pandemic at the moment we've had to think about really how we do things differently. So we'll just hop down to the workshop now to see how Andy's getting on and what solution he came up with for the door.
So this is the door that we made originally, which was going to go in the show last year, but obviously because of the pandemic we haven't been open. So the task was to come up with some way of visitors being able to open the door but without actually physically contacting it. So we've taken a bit of inspiration from some traditional means of opening a door, and we've basically built a miniature automatic door opener. So it should be, opens a few seconds later and it should close.
That's brilliant, Andy. This is the white rabbit which is going at the entrance to the exhibition, and Andy's made him a watch to carry, and he's in progress at the moment. He still needs his coat painting, but he's looking good.
This is the caterpillar who features in the story. It's carved from polystyrene blocks, so same thing you get in packaging. So this has been carved with a hot wire tool and a hot knife tool, as well as wire brushes which smooths off the surface, and sandpaper. The next stage for this piece is to apply a hard coating of rapid setting tile adhesive. So he'll be painted up in the right colours for the story as well.
It's all starting to come together. a rabbit hole which is going to go at the entrance. We've now got the doors on the wall, and Alice is there ready to open the little door. We've got a big Alice on the wall. Coming around here, I've started printing out and applying the graphics to the rose wall that will be the four corners of the croquet lawn. We'll be having quotes from the book, and we've had these produced in vinyl pre-cut lettering, and I'm just about to apply it to the wall. And that is the first quote done. We've just started constructing the cases and the walls to divide the gallery up, and it's all modular, so this will form the walls as shown on the plan here. We've added the griffin and mock turtle graphic with Alice. We've started setting up the cases and the walls. This is the carcass for the first one. Andy's brought up the caterpillar. Oh, and also we'll show you how this works later. Andy has brought the clock up and done the mechanics for the bonkers clock. The bonkers clock. It's really cool, you'll love it. And Andy's created all the mechanism for it. And isn't it brilliant? And again, this is another thing that we had to adapt for the show due to the pandemic, because originally it would have been just hands that visitors could move around themselves. And Andy made the mistake of saying to me, do you want it to be able to move on its own? And the answer, of course, is always yes. Miranda, the curator of ceramics, has started to bring some objects down for us, so you'll see these around the cases, and also Sam, the arts curator, she's also bought some of her objects. Here you can see the teapot with the crocodile knop, and that's the part of the story where Alice recites the little poem that you can see here. Throughout the gallery you'll be able to see little labels of the star objects. We've got some of the objects already in the case for the dodo race. This is actually a finished case. You can see the caterpillar is no longer there because it's over here, and he's painting it at the moment. He's done the hole, and I've put the vinyl up for where you can crawl through to get into the Mad Hatter's tea table. And here in the case we have two ceramic fish, so they are representing the footmen, the fish footmen. He's got a nice Cheshire Cat grin. I've put 2, 5 and 7 up, who are painting the roses red. These are all the cards, the soldiers. Now the clubs were soldiers of the Queen's Guards, and they were the ones that made the archers for the croquet. And I've just been painting their feet and hands for them to stand on. The herald and the jam tarts, and also in this case we'll be having some cards from their local history collection, which Joe should be bringing today, and a scroll parchment. We have a king, and in this case again we've got items from the ceramics and decorative arts collections. We've got a ceremonial wig and some crowns, and another one of the star items, which is a cup of knowledge. Again, here we've got a case where we'll have some cards in, and above that will be the quote, well, is the quote, "Who cares for you, said Alice. You're nothing but a pack of cards." Put all the ceramic items on the tea table. We've got some ceramic biscuits, some nice teacups and saucers and teapots, a pot that's actually got the Mad Hatter's hat on it, and a beautiful cake. And here we have the dormouse just popping his head out of the teapot. Isn't that wonderful? Over here we have the Mad Hatter's top hat from the Decorative Arts collection, and also in this case we're going to have a white mountain hare. And in this case we're going to have a bat to go with the little saying that Alice says, "Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder what you're at. So as you can see, it's all coming along. We'll get Glenn, the natural science curator, and also the lead officer on the exhibition here when he brings his objects in. So I'm here with Glenn Rogley, the natural science curator and also the lead officer for the exhibition, and he's here at the moment just photographing some of the objects that are going into the exhibition before they go on display, and we'll be putting them on display shortly. The wood mouse, he's going to feature in the Caucus race in this exhibition. Isn't he cute? So here we have Andy, who's just framing some of the C.W. Brown prints. Here's a print all ready to go in the frames, and now installing the print into the frame. Just putting the back on now, stapling the back on. There we go. So I'm here again with Andy in the workshop. They're doing a very messy job, but someone's got to do it. He's creating all the routes that are coming off the entrance to the rabbit hole that you go through to get into the gallery. I'm here with Andy again, and he's just programming the clock. There's lots of technical wizardry that goes into this. What's all that business, Andy?
That is the code for programming the board in the clock.
Is it doing what it's told?
No, not yet.
Will it do what it's told?
It might do.
It is a funny watch after all, isn't it? It can do whatever it likes. Hello, we've finally finished the exhibition, so let's have a final walkthrough. Let's see if we can find Alice. Here she is. And the first thing Alice sees is a white rabbit who runs past her and goes down a rabbit hole muttering, oh dear, I shall be late." And Alice follows him down the rabbit hole, and she falls down, down, down. Would the fall never come to an end? And she finds herself in a little hall and a little door, and she sees a bottle on the table, but she can't reach it. Later on, she swims in a pool of her own tears and climbs to the edge, and in the pool with her was all of these animals, but they're all wet. So the dodo decides it would be a good idea to have a caucus race, and in the exhibition we'll tell you all about the caucus race, and in the family pack we'll give you instructions of how to do it. But when they've all done the caucus race, the dodo finally cries out, "Everybody's won and all must have prizes," and Alice scats about in her pocket trying to find a prize, and she found some sweets and a thimble, and those were the prizes that they all had. Later on in the story, Alice comes across Bill the lizard. He's a monitor lizard, so you'll be able to see him. Further along in the story, she meets a strange caterpillar sitting on a mushroom, and we have our own caterpillars here out of the collection, and one of the famous lines out of the story is, "Who are you?" And our natural science curator has arranged all of our caterpillars into the sign to say, "Who are you?" And we also have some wax mushrooms out of our collections. Now, after Alice has visited the caterpillar, she goes on and finds herself at the Duchess's house. And the Duchess is a very strange woman, and she's got a very strange cook who likes to cook soup. So we have some cooking pots here. This is a picture by C.W. Brown, and I'm going to say that this could be the Duchess holding her baby. And the Duchess also has a cat that grins. He's got a really big grin on his face, and Alice sees the cat several times in the story. And here we have, isn't this wonderful? This is a wonderful cat plate from our ceramics collection. And you can just imagine the Cheshire Cat looking a bit like him with his wide grin. Now the cat tells Alice to go and find the Mad Hatter, and the Mad Hatter's sitting at his table having tea with the March Hare and the Dormouse. And the March Hare has a funny little watch. Oh, you can see lots of pocket watches from our collection. And look at this funny watch on the wall. It tells the day of the month and it doesn't tell what o'clock it is. Look at all these lovely cakes from our ceramics collection. And look at this. This is one of my favourites. It's a little mouse coming out of a teapot, and that's perfect for the story, isn't it? Moving on, we've also got another C.W. Brown painting here, and it's called Tea Time. And this is perfect for the show. Just look at that. It's even got a bonkers clock, just like our bonkers clock over there. And we've got some lovely deck mould prints of a hare there, the Mad Hatter's top hat, and there's the hare. And the Mad Hatter always said things like, "It's always tea time and we've no time to wash things between whiles." Now in the story, after Alice has had tea with the Mad Hatter, she notices that one of the trees has a door leading into it. That's very curious, she thought, but everything's curious today. I think I may as well go in it at once, and in she went. Now, should we go through here and see what's through here? So then when Alice goes through the door, she comes back into the corridor. Let's find the corridor. And she finds a little door, and finally, there's the key. She opens the door, and behind the door was a little passage, and she found herself in the beautiful gardens amongst the bright flower beds and the cool fountains. This is very strange, she thought. And she goes a bit further, and she finds herself with a large rose tree stood at the entrance to the garden. On the rose tree, the roses were growing white, but there were 3 gardeners busily painting them red. And they were painting them red because they were scared, because they were asked to plant some red rose trees, and by mistake they'd planted them white, so they were painting the roses. And this is one of my favourite pictures in the show. This is by C.W. Brown. It's an untitled painting, but I'm going to say that this is the Duchess going into the rose garden. With a bit of imagination, you can just imagine that that's the Duchess, can't you? And that just looks like as if Alice was peeping through the keyhole, looking into the garden. When Alice is in the garden, she soon meets the Queen, croquet, with all the cards. And here we have the croquet lawn. After they'd been playing croquet for a while, the Duchess took Alice to see a griffin and a turtle, and here we have a large turtle shell. I don't think we've had this on display before, so that'll be lovely for you to look at. And then somebody, we don't know who, but I think it was the knave that was accused of stealing the Queen's tarts. The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts all on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts, he stole those tarts and took them quite away. And here you have the herald with some ceramic jam tarts. They're just like the Queen's jam tarts, and there they are, the Queen and the King and the Knave of Hearts. And this is the trial of the Knave of Hearts. Here's the King sitting, and there's his wig. All the animals were in the court as well. And at the end of the trial, Alice realised, when she'd grown to a full height, that all they were a pack of cards, and she didn't need to be afraid of them. And then she wakes up again on the riverbanks. And that's the end of our story and the introduction to the exhibition. Can't wait for you to come and see it. Let's walk back through and find Alice again quietly sitting on the riverbank. We hope you've enjoyed our behind the scenes look at what we do.
And I hope you'd all agree that we deserve a cake or two.
More tea, Andy?
Yes, please.
After all, it's always tea time.